Welcome back. You are watching Real Talk. Today we are talking about a very contentious topic, of course, abortion. We are speaking to Martha Ann, who is sharing with us her life experience, and even she's going to tell us what she does with the young girls, because the largest population of women, actually the youth make up of about 75%, and we were just saying 60% of those have probably had an abortion. They have no one to talk to. They think, this is something I shouldn't even talk about, and they don't know what to do about it. And before we get into what you do, there's also the issue of rape. Also people use that to justify and say, because I was raped, then why should I keep this baby, because it wasn't intentional. Then what would you say?
A child comes to born with it's a blank sheet. It has nothing written on it, So it doesn't mean that because it was born out of rape, it's going to be a rape child or anything.
Yeah.
But let me give an example. Rwanda, one of the tools they used during the genocide was rape.
Yes.
And how many babies were born out of rape? And right now, how many years are they? I think they're about 27, 28 years old, 30. And they're there and they're fine, and there's nothing wrong with them. So it's all these things we say rape, these are just justifications. In Kenya here, there are girls I know who've had babies through rape. What will happen is the mother will know how she had that baby, and she might project those emotions to the child. You understand? But you will not, if you put babies who are brought up and told which one was that, you would not know.
You wouldn't know.
So those are just justifications still. Yeah.
And also the other thing young people use to justify is, I have not finished school, I don't have a job, I'm gonna raise this baby alone, I can't do it.
I know of a girl, before even I knew about abortion, I mean crisis pregnancy and all, she got pregnant when she was in class 8. She ran away with a makanga. In fact, I'll have testimony I heard in church when I first got born again. And she was saying the way she ran away with a makanga, she came back. Her mom had her story. The guy dumped her, she went to her auntie. Then the auntie, the normal support system that we had long ago.
Yeah.
The auntie got the mom's sister, and they talked, and she took the girl back. And by the way, this 14-year-old girl had a baby laughing. She didn't even know, I don't know, the doctor was looking at her, what are you laughing at? And she said she felt nothing. But then she had her baby. In fact, they induced the baby so she can, she did well in class 8. They induced the baby so she can go to Form 1 with her intake. You understand? So, she went, the mother stayed with the baby, but the agreement was you go to school, but holidays, duty, responsibilities. And the girl right now, I think, is what? She's about she was 14, so 14 plus, let me say about 15. She's about 30 now. So she must be having a teenager in her hands, a daughter.
Yeah.
And they're doing well. I actually have to follow them up and find out how they're doing. But they should be doing well, because she had a very strong mother support behind her and all that kind of thing. So it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Yeah.
I like that, because I was actually thinking we will have that for our audience. A place where we have young people who have gone through early pregnancies, and they have a successful life that, because I was in school is not an excuse. So I think that's also a topic that we could discuss.
Yeah, there are girls I know who have done it, and I can refer them to you, and they come and talk about it.
Yeah.
To you.
All right. So you're coordinator at YFC, crisis pregnancy. So just tell us how you started this organization. Of course, we understand the motivation behind it, and then even what you do for these young girls.
That's the most interesting story you can ever get. When my daughter was turning 14, and she's a pretty little girl, as pretty as you are.
Thank you.
And I remember I could think of what I was going through at that age. And I went to God and told God, do you know, if you can prevent my daughter from going through what I went through, I'll serve you the rest of my life. Right now, in hindsight again, I know that God will get you anywhere you go to Him. It was not about my daughter, but it was about me. You understand? And my daughter went on with her life, just normal teenager things that everybody, every challenge teenager just go through. But I was going also, it's, I think, the effects of the psychological effects, because now by this time I had my son. It was catching up on me. And I was between jobs, and I met a lady. She's called Ginny Rizek. Right now she got married again at 70, and she said she's Gidi Isaac Nehemiah. And she told me, why don't you go to the rehab center? You're looking for something to do. Just go get yourself busy, volunteer. Go to the rehab center. Since I'm very good with crafts and with my hands and making things. So I went there and I just fell in love with the place and the possibility of the place and making, we make jewelry like this that we make and all. And they were doing that, and I found better ways for them to do it. And that's how I ended up at the crisis. Actually, it's an organization that's already been there. Crisis Pregnancy is actually all over. There are centers all over the world. In Africa, there are a few others. That time it was the only one in Kenya, and I think it's the oldest crisis organization in Kenya. It's connected to Youth for Christ Kenya. And I ended up, in those harakatis of doing my own thing, I found myself being the coordinator. It was, sometimes you just find out, oh, you're the coordinator, you understand? But I've never done counseling, I've never done any official thing to do with counseling and what, but it was just from my life experience and what. And the interesting thing, these girls used to come to the center. The counselors are there, they will tell them, and they'll bring a long story. Oh, I was raped, or oh, my pastor did this, or what, oh, I was a house girl, the boss, this and that. And I just all over. I'm a very people person, jovial, going around, and I'd sit down, and sometimes they'd stray into my office and we'd start, talking. And within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, she'll tell me the real story behind. And that's when I came to know that there are very many men who are behind jail for rape. That was never done so. So that's how I ended up in this place. And I was dealing with these girls, and most of them, the first thing they'll say is, my mother. My mother. They all cry, by the way, my mother. And I would ask her, what is it that your mother, because even I had to resolve my mommy issues at 50. You understand? And I'd understand where they're coming from, because our mothers would not tell us. Our mothers, I think our mothers also got married my mother got married at 17, all those years ago. She's 78 now. And I can imagine what she was going through. You were just found, and sometimes some of them were waylaid on the way. So I'd say even them, I think matters of sex was not something they knew about. It's something that is done in the dark. And it's for babies. And once they've stopped having babies, they forget about that. They get another. In fact, they used to bring that whole society. You'd bring your sister to come and help you. So in knowing where this comes from, in knowing that I'd sit around with these older women and they'll tell me their life stories, I'd start coaching these girls to realize why aren't their mothers doing like that. And I just fell in love with what I was doing. And but when you're doing work with unresolved issues, it catches up with you. And sometimes when I'm alone, I'd feel such a fake. You're saying here, you're telling people advice of things. And now my daughter would tell me, tell her, mommy, chill. It was at times of chill. And she tells me, mama, why are you telling me chill? Chill namna gani? Why you chill mara once? Kwanza mara twice. Why didn't you chill? But it's when now I go back to my director and I'd ask her, my daughter is telling me, she's challenging me. When I'm telling her about these matters, sex. She said, just tell her the truth. And I'll tell her, mama, I made mistakes. And that's why I'm telling you not to make those mistakes. Those roads that you guys are walking through, and with her friends, I'm the one who maybe even paved them, you understand? And I know where they'll end. And